Now, could you tell us this ceasefire agreement that will take effect on Sunday, when that happens, when could we expect reconstruction to begin?
مساء الخير عليكم وعلى
Good
أيضا السادة
evening for
المشاهدين.
you, and good
بكل
evening to the
تأكيد
viewers.
أعتقد أن هناك
Of
بالفعل
course, I
كثير من
think
الاهتمام
that
الآن
there
من
is a
خلال
lot of
الشهرين
interest
القادمين
being
فيما يتعلق
given
بإتمام
to
صفقة الإفراج عن الأسرى
finalizing the
والملف الفائز دخول الشاحنات
hostage
والمساعدات
release
والمعدات
agreement and entering the
والشحنات
humanitarian aid with
وأن هناك لجان
600
فنية
trucks
تعقد
a day.
مع ذلك مع
And
الفنيين
there is a
والمساعدة
technical
القادرة
committees being held in
للشغل
Cairo
العمليات
now to
والمتابعة
form
في
an
فترة
operation
السنوات
room to follow up the implementation of the agreement from Cairo, as Cairo will bear the most responsibility for the hostage exchange across the three phases. So all the efforts are being directed now to finalizing the agreement. And you know, it's a three-phase agreement. Each one is a 40-day phase. Everyone will be following up the implementation of the agreement and entering the aid and the release of the hostages and the rehabilitation of the Gaza population. And then there will be a deep talk by the international community to discuss the Gaza reconstruction. Cairo was proactive, represented in Badr Abdulati, Minister of Foreign Affairs in Egypt, that Egypt will host an international conference for the Gaza reconstruction with an international fund supervised by the United Nations and major countries such as Egypt for the Gaza reconstruction, which will take a lot of time to mobilize the support and cooperation and assess the damage, as most 80% of the Gaza infrastructure was completely destroyed, and the World Bank will assess the needs of that will amount to $90 billion. The international community will need to set a plan with the European partners and allies, which will require a lot of discussions and communication. After the phase 1 and phase 2 of the agreement, talks will begin with cooperation with the United Nations and United States, headed by President Trump, and Egypt as a pioneering country with an integral role to implement the ceasefire agreement and to foster the resolution to the Israeli-Arab conflict. There will be agreements to host the international conference in Cairo after phase 1 and phase 2, and the release and exchange of hostages and detainees without any violations by Israel, so that the international community makes sure that this agreement takes place smoothly.
Now we're hearing that the cost of rebuilding Gaza is somewhere between 40 and 80 billion dollars. What do you think it might cost, and where is this money going to come from?
Of course, there is a large part to be played by the international community and the GCC. Everyone now is directed to the GCC, especially Qatar, because it's playing a great role in the deal and in the reconstruction afterwards with cooperation with Egypt. This will require an international conference to assess the damages and assess the required funds with the participation of the international financial institutions for the Gaza reconstruction. There will be a road map, economic and development road map, as stated by Egypt, to form an international fund for the Gaza reconstruction during the international conference to be held in Egypt after the phase 1 and phase 2 of the agreement. All the international powers and institutions will take part of this conference to assess the contributions by each party to be mobilized in the Gaza reconstruction fund. And I think this will require a lot of plans, communications, and discussions that will be supported by the United Nations and international organizations' efforts and the United States with President Trump to make sure that the Gaza events do not happen or occur once again, to achieve a long-lasting peace and stability in the region, which was promised by President Trump during the past few hours, the release of the hostages, and we have a lot of preparations that will serve the Middle East and the entire world, and we need to wait till Trump assumes office, and then we will talk again about the essence of reconstruction and the political settlement in the Middle East.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ashraf Al-Ashary, for joining us here on Q News.